So I did it. I jumped off the deep end and ordered not just one, but two Teslas. I got to tell you, my opinions over the years have changed. 10, 12 years ago, like Tesla just had the Model S out. They were still in development of the Model 3. Elon claimed back then that the Model 3 was going to be a car that basically people like me would actually want to buy, and it'd be under $35,000. I didn't think that was possible, and he did it. But back then, like I said, there wasn't a lot of options. So my opinions were based on misinformation. Back then, I thought, like a lot of people did, well, those things catch fire a lot. Like, really? It turns out that wasn't really an issue back then, and it most definitely is not an issue right now. Gas powered cars, cars that are powered based on fire, those things catch fire 80 times more likely than an EV does. So it doesn't really seem to be an issue. The other narrative that everybody talked about that I bought into was, well, when you got to replace the battery, that's going to be pretty expensive. You may not be able to afford it. But as you'll see a little bit later, I'll talk about it. One of the models covers batteries standard up to 8 years and 150,000 miles. If that was really an issue, why would they be offering to replace them for free? Plus, if they're so expensive, it doesn't make any sense, and that's obviously not an issue. So I ended up doing a test drive of a Model 3 Performance. I think it was November of last year, 2023. And I got to say, I was blown away. It was amazing. I like the simplistic interior, the minimalistic look of the Teslas. I know some people don't like them, but not only do I not dislike it, I actually kind of like it. So that wasn't an issue for me. And that thing was quick. I mean, it was fast off the line. Now, my car is pretty fast off the line stock and it's modified. There's a rare time that somebody will be a little bit quicker off the line than I am, but it happens. It's just not frequent. And that thing is just incredibly faster than my car. Plus, we're like down to the eighth mile. My car kind of feels like it's chugging along. The Tesla just has linear power from start to finish, and it just keeps climbing. So I went home, started to do a little bit more research and figuring out what I wanted to get. I had actually already put an order, a reservation in for the Cybertruck. I love everything about that vehicle. So I ended up going home, digging into a little bit more things. I ended up joining a bunch of different forums on like Facebook and Reddit, learning about different things with Teslas. And I'll tell you, there was a common theme among Tesla owners that I kind of find a little bit laughable. Two really big things are a lot of Tesla owners end up caring about panel gaps. And I got to be honest with you, I go out to my car and I love my car. I go and check the panel gaps. I don't think there's a single panel gap that looks uniform from one side to the other. Even some on the same side of the vehicle look to be a little bit off when I really look close. I run my finger along the gap of like the fender and the hood, or between like the rear door and the quarter panel, and there'll be slight imperfections. I've never cared about that in my entire life. I mean, yeah, it's one thing if you look at a vehicle and it looks like it's been in a fender bender because there's a 3-inch gap or something really crazy, but that's not what these people are complaining about. They're complaining about small gaps that sometimes when they even post pictures online, I can't even see the difference they're talking about. That seems to be something that's specific to Tesla, and I don't quite understand that, but it's a good laugh. The other thing I found interesting is, and this is towards the end of 2023, so it's probably not an issue until the end of the year and beginning of the next, but a lot of people had concerns about taking delivery of a 2023 vehicle identification number vehicle in 2024. Even though Tesla doesn't update their vehicles on a yearly basis like a lot of manufacturers do, so it's the same car, it could be 3 weeks manufacturing difference, but the VIN will be different. So people were looking for ways to game the system, to delay delivery to where they wouldn't lose their order, but they could try to wait long enough to get a vehicle that had a 2024 VIN on. Again, it's the same exact vehicle, just maybe it was built 2 or 3 weeks difference. So, I call them these Tesla bros. They're kind of the Karens of the automobile world, but it's just something you got to deal with when you're, talking about Tesla owners. So something else I find interesting is the media really loves to attack Elon and pretty much any of his companies. So whether we're talking about Tesla, SpaceX, Twitter when he turned that into X, Optimus, the Boring Company, anything, you name it, the media wants to attack them on it. So anytime there's bad news, it's always in the national news, even if it's a non-issue. The most recent of which was something that happened when there was some really cold temperature up in the northern part of the United States. And the narrative from the media was, well, Teslas don't work in the cold. Everybody's got stranded Teslas. They can't charge. You just take a step away and get outside of the group think and actually look at the issues yourselves. And the first thing I ask myself is, well, wait a minute. Why is this only an issue in Chicago? If that were a true narrative, how come these issues don't happen in other cold and colder climates frequently? Why is it just Chicago? So if you dig into those issues and you actually spend 2 or 3 minutes looking at it, you'll see there's actually some specific to Chicago reasons why this happened. Yet a lot of people don't take the time to actually think about that. They just go along with what the group is saying. So I went back a few days later and test drove a Model X. I really liked the Model X. Right off the bat, one of the first things I liked about it was the front windshield. This is probably something that doesn't bother most people, unless those of you who are watching are tall people. Sometimes I'll be at a stoplight and I can't see the stoplight. I actually have to bend down and look up to kind of see when it turns green, especially if I can't see a lower light on the sides. It's just a little bit of a nuisance, really. But on the Model X, you have that huge panoramic windshield. You have a clear view, and I've never experienced anything like that. That feels good. I really like the extra space in the Model X. The 3 is not small inside by any means, but the Model X just has a little bit extra room. It just feels more comfortable getting in, getting out when you're in it. The other thing is I had a bucket list item, kind of a non-negotiable for a next vehicle, and that was having air-conditioned seats. I remember back when Volvo first came out with them. Back then, there was no way I was going to be able to afford any of the models that had it, but that always intrigued me. And in Arizona, when you have, like 90 days temperature of over 110 in a row, starting tapping, 115 every once in a while, your back gets all sweaty. It was something I've always wanted. So that was going to be a requirement for new vehicle. There's a lot of vehicles out there that have it. That's not just something specific to Tesla. In fact, the new refresh of the Model 3s have it now, but that was something I really wanted. So I decided to go with getting the Model X. I have a couple road trips planned this year. I have some free time since I retired back in 2023 that I'm going to go travel a little bit, but it's all going to be in the US. So I'm going to go out to Texas for the Nations League Finals. That's in Dallas, Arlington area. And I'm going to go down south to Boca Chica and check out the Starbase facilities. I want to see the Starship and all the stuff out there. If there's a launch around there, that would be cool. After that, I'm going to come home, but then I have another trip for the Copa America soccer tournament. That's going to take me all the way back out to Arlington. Then I think it's to Atlanta and then up through Nashville to Kansas City and then back home, hopefully for a quarterfinal game. Then a month later is the Bitcoin 2024 conference in Nashville. So I'll be going right back out to Nashville a month later. And then September, I'll have a trip to go to Las Vegas again. So I'm going to be one of those new Tesla owners that are taking road trips and learning how to use the supercharging network, have a little range anxiety maybe. I'll probably just be paying attention more to, what my mileage is, what percentage I burn, how speed factors into all of that. So I'm really excited for a lot of those trips. So on January 1st, I went ahead and ordered my Model X. I ended up waiting for January 1st. I probably didn't need to. I probably could have ordered it like mid or early December and been just fine too. But I really wanted to get the $7,500 EV incentive to be a point of sale credit as opposed to waiting to file on the next calendar year taxes and apply it. So at like 2 a.m., I ended up ordering that vehicle on the 1st. And Tesla's website, obviously on the 1st, didn't have any details about it changing to the point of sale credit. It actually wasn't until the 10th that the Tesla website was updated and I was able to, in the app, complete that step and put that I was going to transfer that tax liability over to them so that way I can get the $7,500 off the point of sale up front. Then like a week later, the app updated and finally gave me an estimated delivery date, which was, I think, February 7th to March 13th. So a 5-week window. And And I think it just actually recently updated to a 3-week window of February 14th to March 6th. So I'm hoping we get, a little bit closer to where I can finish the last steps. As soon as I get the vehicle identification number, I can go on and finish the last steps. All I got to do is basically then go to the app. So I'll open up the app and it'll let me finish those steps here. Yeah, so here, it says, so this is completing who's registering the car, the options for the point of sale credit, not trading in any vehicles, how you're going to pay for it. And then, yeah, here, check back, and then you'll be able to get the next steps once you get the vehicle identification number, which is to get the insurance, which I'll check Tesla's insurance prices, but they're probably going to be insane. I'll do a couple other carriers checks online, and then make the final payment. And then once you're all done with that, then you soon get some kind of update where you can actually do the delivery date. So that's going to be pretty exciting. All right, so that's pretty much it. I will update you guys once I get an update from Tesla and hopefully eventually get a delivery date and get everything sorted out. But in the meantime, let me know. If you have a Tesla, what model did you go with? Why'd you pick that one? How's it working out for you? If you don't have a Tesla, but you're thinking about getting one, which one do you think would be the best option? Curious. Let me know in the comments. All right. See you on the next video.